Welcome back to the Manchester United Fan Culture Series, and in this episode we're going to be discussing the Cardiff versus Manchester United game on the 31st of August 1974. As usual, get involved in that comment section if you was there or any memories throughout the 70s. What was the build-up like to this game during the week?
Absolutely mad. All the newspapers, the TV, the news stations, they were telling us this is going to be a war. The Red Army was on the march, and it was a Saturday, and they were just expecting just pure mayhem. Warnings were given out to householders to board your houses up, to look after your property. The police were on full alert. They were expecting thousands, and they just expected utter carnage. And you know what? That's exactly how the day was.
It was building up as a violent, tense, hostile game then from the actual press and the national media. Did you travel on the day of the game? Did you travel the day before?
We travelled the night before on the Friday night. As you know, a lot of hitchhikers and our group, we was on our way, a large group of us. But it was difficult for us, left on the Friday night. We knew it wasn't going the same route as London, so this was a bit of a change, going southwest. 14-year-old, 15-year-old lads all up for it. It was just like, it was madness really, because we was walking into it. We were being told we was walking into a war. And on Friday night, we was just all like giddy and going, can't wait to get there. But we knew it was going to be a difficult journey heading to Cardiff, because lots of United fans were hitchhiking it. And the thing is, as I've said before, I had to be there first. I had to get there early, like many other United fans. The expectation for this had just gathered all week, and the media just blew it up right out, but told the country. And I think the country was waiting to see what happened.
Yeah, obviously 15 years of age at the time of this game. When you actually arrived there then in Cardiff after hitchhiking it, did you come across a lot of Manchester United fans then already there?
Well, we got there about 6:30 in the morning. The meeting up point is the station. The train station, and obviously you find a cafe. That's what we did, waiting for me pals and that, and there was other United fans turning up, and we just like hung around in the cafe for a while. That's what we did, wanted to meet up with our friends. There was no mobile phones then, you know, you couldn't contact your mates or anything, so it was, everybody knew, every hitchhiker knew, train station, that's the meeting point. The early birds, they arrive and they just hang about in the town centre.
How long was you at this cafe for? Getting tucked into breakfast, was you a bit of a coffee, or was you straight on the beer?
No, not on the beer. We got straight on a cup of tea, coffee. Just relaxing, to be honest with you. Thought, yeah, this is a nice day. What can go wrong here? And it certainly went wrong, because at 7:30, I got the shock of my life. We was attacked.
All hands to the pump then?
Oh, it was all hands to the pump. No two ways about it. You know, we're all in the cafe, and it was all hands on deck. Out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, and to this day I still can't work out where these Cardiff fans turned up from. You know, I don't know whether they turned up from the valleys or anything, that they got off a train out of some village or something, but at 7:30 in the morning this cafe was under attack. Even now I don't know how many there was. It just came like a flash of light, and it was all hands to the pump.
How many fans roughly of United were inside this cafe?
I'd say there was about 40, maybe 50 United fans in there, just like some having a sleep and that, some lying on the floor having a kip, you know what I mean? They'd not been asleep, you know what I mean? You don't sleep when you're hitchhiking it. So everyone like just startled. Whatever you had to hand, you used it as a weapon.
Give me a bit of a description on this. Cardiff turning up, was the bottles, bricks maybe going through the windows of this cafe, or was they all just trying to get through the actual door?
Well, it was like the door was under siege. All things smashing around you and everything else like that. I don't think the windows came in the cafe, but there was like pure noise. And it is a shock, you know, having a fight at 7:30 in the morning, right? Full scale battle, right? You're totally not expecting it. It is a shock to anyone's system. Everyone knew the score. Everyone knew what to act. You don't let them in. You don't know how many's coming in. And everyone reacted together, and everything was at hand. Tables,
knives and forks, cups of tea,
plates, you name it, everything going at it at this door, which was bouncing in and out. And then within a minute, maybe 2 minutes, it stopped. And I did not even see where they went, but I'll tell you what, it was ferocious. Like throwing everything and then charging through the door. And by the time we got through the door, right, there's a cop car out there, and it was quiet as a mouse. They come, they attacked, they knew exactly where we was, and then they got off.
Was there any bad injuries from any of the United fans or even the Cardiff fans?
No injuries to note what I know. Maybe one or two people like had copped something on the back of the head or something when they were ducking. Mainly, to be honest with you, was all laughing. It was all young lads all laughing our heads off and that, because we could not believe what was going on.
At that time in the morning
At
as
that
well.
time in the morning. But the thing is, we got there at that time in the morning because we didn't want to miss anything, and we actually copped it. It was just pure laughter because we thought, it's a long day. It's only 7:30.
Yeah.
The sun's up, right? And we've just been in our major battle, which to us 14, 15-year-old lads, right, is so exciting, is unbelievable.
Yeah, what's the plan of action then after that? Was it a case of you stay at the cafe and more Manchester United fans join up where you are, or did you decide to go on the march to another location?
No, what had happened is the police had tried to separate this town. You know, there was barriers and things like that in the town. And so United fans were sort of slowly meeting up. I was going nowhere. I was only going to wait for the right people, I thought. But United fans were turning up all morning. But so were Cardiff fans. You could see a few Cardiff fans here, there and everywhere. And every now and again, I'd say up to about 11 o'clock, there were skirmishes all over. Because United fans were coming in. Coaches were being dropped off in the town. People were coming from all over the country on trains. Groups were meeting up. But most people didn't leave the city centre area until they gathered. And it wasn't till about 12 o'clock that large, and I mean large groups of United fans were marching down to the ground right through the town. But I'd say about 11 o'clock, the skirmishes had ended. You know, when I looked around what I seen in Cardiff, there was just thousands of United fans in the city centre, all waiting, either trying to find a pub. They were getting involved in little skirmishes, fights. They were being attacked from behind, in side streets, and then they were attacking because there was Cardiff fans there. So there was always things going on, especially for young lads. And I didn't go in the pub or anything. We was out and about the town. We was looking. That was our job. That was what we was there for.
Was it a case of United fans and Cardiff fans sort of like taking turns to chase each other at the right moments kind of thing then throughout that late morning?
It was now our town. And what Cardiff mentality was, this is ours. We're trying to defend it. But there was no way they could defend the city centre. United fans in their numbers were arriving early, and there was no way. So they were just trying to have a go, which is what used to happen. But they couldn't take on the Red Army in the city centre because every like 20 minutes there was large groups arriving in different waves and all that. And Cardiff couldn't handle it, could not handle it. No one could handle it. But United fans all stayed in the town for when the right moment or when you felt safe with a large group, and off you went, because you could not leave that city centre in 2s and 3s and walk. You could not, because you was going to get picked off. There's no two ways about it. Everyone understood the rules here.
So is it a case of this was what dreams were made of then, you know, the hostility between both sets of fans, and is there now a large group of Manchester United fans in the city centre of Cardiff, and from your words, have took over?
Oh, they've took over the town.
Yeah.
They've took over the town. There's no one chasing Manchester United fans out of this town. United fans are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to march to that ground unmolested. You know, there was. I'm telling you, there was thousands, absolutely thousands of United fans, and there was nothing anyone could do. And they ruled the roost. You know, we was the attackers. Cardiff now, after about 11 o'clock, as I see it, this is my personal views, that they were out of the town, and they were there now as the defenders of Cardiff further down the road, nearer the ground, in and around. That was their chance to pick off the Red Army. That's how it works out.
Yeah, defending certain points there to try and ambush sections of Manchester United fans. So let's move this along. You're all in the town centre. I'm not too sure what time you'd have set off there in large numbers from that centre to the ground, but take us through what you can remember of that day leaving the town centre to go to the ground.
Large numbers of United fans started marching to the stadium from about 12:30, from what I could see. Well, I was waiting, and I had my friends with me, and I said, right, we'll wait till a certain point, till I felt comfortable with people who I knew. Well, the Manchester train come in, waited for that and off I went with them. I was comfortable with that, no problem. Marching to the ground, like it was all jovial or whatever, and there was no one attacking us. I mean, there was absolutely hundreds of us. I mean, literally hundreds of us, the group I walked with. I would say there was about 600, maybe 700, and no one was doing anything to this lot, because this lot all understood what they were there for and what to expect. You know, they weren't disappointed when they got to the ground.
I've seen people around on football forums, and after doing a bit of research, I've seen some pictures as well of homeowners lining the streets as well, outside the front doors. Is that because of the actual reputation of the Red Army coming to town and maybe wrecking the gaff, so to speak?
They wrecked so many gaffs, this Red Army. Several towns were warned, the Red Army's coming. This was no different. Kill, wreck and destroy. That was the motto. And homeowners were told to protect. Homeowners did board up. There was a little bit of like brick throwing and a little bit of vandalism on the way to the ground and that, right? Keep themselves busy, keep themselves amused. But they knew what was possibly going to be happening when they got to the ground. And when we got to the ground, the stories were there. They'd been running battles in and around the ground and everything. And Cardiff kept trying to take it to United. But United held firm where they were. And not long after me getting there, bang, it happened. Cardiff came, probably for about the 5th time, but the first time when I was there.
Police really unable to do anything about what was coming towards the ground from the Red Army, and also Cardiff in certain locations being ready to defend what is their territory.
They're defending it, but also attacking. But let's get the police here. Not a chance. There is nothing the police could do. They knew it. They knew it before. When the country's telling you what's going to happen, right? Nowadays, you'd expect the police to prepare and all. You can't prepare. You can't prepare for an invasion of the Red Army because they're coming from all directions and you can't control it. Once it starts, it's like a ball rolling. It just keeps going and going. And Cardiff knew they couldn't stop it. But what they could do is take it to United. And their plan was near the ground and attack United. And United, every time, just backed them off, run them off.
Yeah, I've seen, like I say, certain numbers out there amongst fans who say they were there that day, and they put a number of 8,000 Manchester United fans who travelled.
The Red Army's one unit. Listen, there was about 10,000 there that day. There's about 10,000. Yes, there's all different numbers and that, and we can argue till the cows come home on it, right? But 10,000, that was easily there, okay? We had one full end and that, and there was just United fans all over. And I know the numbers, but the thing is, this is a war now, and we know it's a war. The ground actually was virtually 50-50. 50% Cardiff, 50% United. It was at the ground where they had the numbers, where they could have a go at similar numbers. And that was where the war was going on, not on the streets going to it. People did get picked off, but I was just in a jovial mood. Couldn't wait to get to the ground because I knew what was happening. You get there, right, and everyone's running around with bricks in their hand, sticks in their hand, chasing each other, throwing. There was people just going down on the floor. This is outside the ground. You'd be stood there and then suddenly someone next to you, bump, is on the floor, curled up, bang, brick on the head. That was just normal. And that just happened outside all the way through. You was running at them. They were running at you with bricks in their hand and everything. This is like, you're going to die, son. You get caught.
So you got into the ground unscathed, managed to get in there? Or?
No, listen, I was outside for a while all this skirmishing and war was going on. And then I just thought to myself with a couple of other lads, we're going in their end. Because I believed, my belief at the time, I thought, well, we've got here early. I've seen thousands of United fans go to the ground earlier than me. And I just thought, right, well, some United fans will be in the Cardiff end. We're taking it to Cardiff. That's what it was. So we're going to be in their end. Well, about 5 of us went round the side, and outside Cardiff's end is like this big green patch of land. And we was on there having a little look, thinking about it.
Yeah, observing.
Just looking, a bit worried and all that, like, you know what I mean? Are we making the right decision here? Yeah. But hey-oh, we've made the choice. So we've gone in. My God, got the shock of my life. Shock of my life.
You've mentioned about over away days at that age, in the 70s, that, going away, you've got to keep your mouth shut when you're in certain ends of the grounds. Was that a similar case again when you get inside the ground?
I'm not expecting to keep my mouth shut. I'm expecting to go in there and join in the fighting. That's what I'm expecting. That's why we went in. We didn't go in there to keep our mouths shut because we thought United fans were in there because of what had been going on all day and the hype and the build up to it all. As soon as we got in there, my God, kept my mouth shut all right. We was the only ones in there.
Okay, take me through that then. What actually happened from the minute you're getting in there? Was you in the middle of the terraces, at the bottom, at the top?
Well, we come through the top, looked around and didn't see any United fans, didn't hear any United fans, didn't hear any fighting on the terrace, didn't see a war because that's what I was expecting. And we slowly made our way down to the bottom and quickly got out of there, to be honest with you. I remember Dave Faddle with me, a kid called Dave Walker, Johnny Prescott, all from Wythenshawe. And my God, we got out of there double quick and was it like at the corner and down the bottom, over and straight into the United and absolutely proper on top for young lads. And I think it was being young, right, what saved us because we didn't stand out. But I'll tell you what we did. We spread out. We spread out. We walked away from each other because we knew don't walk in a group. And we just spread out from each other and met at the bottom corner and jumped out together.
Yeah, got back in then to the United end where the larger numbers were. Can you remember anything actually about the game that day?
No, absolutely no. I didn't even watch the game because when we was in the Cardiff end, all what was happening was a hailstone of bricks, sticks, screaming, people climbing up fences, people trying to get at each other from both sides. When they'd climbed out and got in the United end, we joined in the frenzy because that's what it was. It was just pure hatred. People wanted to kill each other, right? The game, I don't think most people watched the game. This was just pure violence. And there was people just getting knocked out with bricks coming over from both sides. It never stopped. And then people attacking each other, knocking each other down from the fences. And the police were virtually powerless. I mean, at one point, I thought the fence was coming. I thought Cardiff was coming over that fence and the fence was going to come down. But the good thing is, everyone was calm on our side when we thought the fence was coming down because we was ready. A few police ended up smashing him and it just continued. It never stopped. And now I've never seen, an hour before kick-off, 90 minutes of the game, nothing but a riot, because that's what it was. And you had to stand there. There was a gap where United fans, had opened up, because for some reason, a lot of the bricks, what was coming over, was hitting this vicinity. And if you was in it, you was on your way. You was on the way to the first aid or something like that. There was loads of people knocked out. And on the other side as well.
Was the police trying to get stuck into either set of fans as well, either Cardiff or United fans, while all this was going on, or were they just still powerless to stop what was happening?
I'm telling you now, right, and anyone what was there will agree with it. What the police were doing, they were keeping out of the zone where the bricks and everything else was coming over, and they were stood to the top, right, waiting to see if anyone tried to get over the fence and they could whack them, or their idea was to keep them apart. But they kept out of this battle zone. They weren't interested because there was nothing. And now it's hard for some people to understand. There was absolutely nothing the police could do to control these two sets of supporters. 100% wanting to kill each other. And that's what it felt like to me inside the ground. But as it got nearer and nearer, like to the end of the game, you could feel this sense that there was going to be a battle. It just built up and built up. Like, this was like the party. This is the start of the party. Turn the music on. Let's see if a couple of people get up dancing. That's what it felt like, because you knew the birthday cake was coming, and that was the final whistle.
Yeah, so before the final whistle then, you're unscathed, no cuts, bruises, grazes, or anything like that?
No, I'm all right. I had a great vantage point in that I was bobbing about. Every now and again I'd move towards the fence thinking, I some Cardiff. One thing what stood out throughout the game was a Cardiff fan, and he had these shorts on, and he just stood out. He was acting like Billy Tenmen.
Yeah.
You know, you get him, you've seen it all. I'm Billy Tenmen behind this big fence, climbing halfway up the fence, getting on top, shouting at everyone, I'm going to kill you all and all that. And he kept doing it, right? And it was amusing, right? And he was thinking, and everyone was thinking the same, God, I'd love to get you and punch your fucking head in.
Yeah, give it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it you, you big gobmouth. And I was thinking, yeah, I'd love to kick his head in. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, the final whistle is due. But before it, lots of United fans started coming out. But they had a plan. I knew where they were going, and I was out there with them.
Take me through that then. What was the actual plan when you got out there?
We got out, and we went round to where this croft was outside their end. But they had the same idea, come out early. And they were coming out, but there was a lot of United fans there. But do you know who's there? You know who's there. Long short man.
Oh, he's not.
He's dancing about. He's dancing about. But there was a lot of United fans and a few Cardiff, right? I'm going to say a few. I think we outnumbered them, okay? Not massively, but we outnumbered them. But we was on the attack, and there he was. Well, he just got mullered, absolutely mullered on this big croft. And so did a few Cardiff, few injuries, you know what I mean? Bricks and all that are going against, you know what I mean? But this is when the police, this was their plan set in, and they just come from nowhere, the police, and just cut right through us and force United fans back. But he got it. He absolutely got it with quite a few of us. There was a few United fans copped it as well. Oh, no, there was no like, we're the victors, we're the winners here. No, it was proper to and fro.
Can imagine there was a few bodies going down on both sides, to be honest with you, because by the sounds of it up to now, Cardiff were well up for it.
Yeah, Cardiff was well up for it. They're defending. You know what I mean? This is a tough place, you know what I mean? They were defending it. There was nothing else they could do. But the thing is, it was all about attack now. Both sides attack. There's no defending. We had to get now from the station, from the ground back to the station. We've got to get back in one piece. Yeah. Well, there was literally, by the time the police have forced us back round the corner, the game's ended and there was thousands. And I mean thousands coming out, and there was several thousand heading back to the train station. But the police had sort of cut it off, where we're on one road and they're on another road, and the police are trying to defend it at certain points, which they couldn't do. They had to go.
Running battles and from full-time going.
Well, running battles, that was the first running battle. And once we set off, I always remember these terrace streets, back to back. I call them ginnels, you know, the backs where you have little passageways and all that. And absolutely, oh my God, Cardiff had come down the first street, and then United had just piled into this like really narrow, like an alleyway, and go straight at them. Well, there's no way you wanted to be caught in that. But the thing is, they were running at each other and they were throwing bricks in each other's heads. And there's people just going on the floor. Cardiff would turn and run, but they were all scrambling, and we're scrambling on them. And we're just giving it them, and then we'd force them out, and then we'd come back out, next ginnel. Then we'd attack. And I remember, I think it was the second attack we did on the way back to the train station. Just went charging, because there was a few Cardiff at the bottom, and we went charging down the alleyway, and we made the mistake of coming out of the alleyway. They were throwing bricks and everything at us while we was coming at them. But once we got out the alleyway, there were several hundred of us what come out with like loads behind, and we all come to a sudden halt. They were all there waiting for us. Oh my God, just smashed us. Everyone going on the floor and all that, and trying to get back in the alleyway. People getting hit with sticks and everything. And we was forced out the alleyway. That happened time and time again. They enticed us down. They mugged us off.
Setting you into the trap.
Yeah, set us in. Well, we got giddy, didn't we?
Yeah.
They just set a trap for us, because they'd learned from the ginnel beforehand. They'd come down and got trapped and got done in, and proper done in. And that went on time and time again. I mean, there was bodies. There was bodies on the floor everywhere. And there was no police intervention at all, because they're not coming in the alleyways. They're staying at the certain designated points all the way back to the train station. What they were doing, they were chaperoning two massive mobs back to the train station. And when the mobs could get at it, they went at it big time. And the police let them, because there was nothing they could do. The whole idea was to get as many United fans out as quickly as possible, right? And whatever went on, because they were expecting it. They knew they couldn't control it. This was one of the biggest, I would put this down as the longest day of violence I've ever seen. And I think there might be one or two games like Birmingham away, early 70s. I remember that. But this had to be virtually one of the longest days of violence I've ever known, knowing that the police Can't stop it. That's life. That's how it was.
Yeah, from 7:30 in the café that morning. Yeah, it sounds like a proper running battle and a war, really, all day. But, you know, you're going on this long road from Ginnell to Ginnell. How are you physically? How are you looking? No marks, grazes. But how are you emotionally as well? What are you thinking? Can you remember at the
What
time?
am I thinking? Listen, at times I'm running down the Ginnell, I'm running down the road with 2 rocks in my hand. You know, I'm looking, everyone else has got rocks.
Yeah.
Or they've got something, a bottle or a stick or something. You was finding weapons and all that because it helped you, you know what I mean? I was finding it tough, you know, I'd been on the floor a few times. Do you know what I mean? I'd been scrambling over people's backs. People had been scrambling over mine. You know, it's frightening. I mean, absolutely frightening. I mean, if you're in a Ginnell and someone's grabbing you by the back and he's trying to get past you, you're thinking, no, you ain't getting past me. Do you know what I mean? But you've got the fear. This is the fear what was there for a lot of people of being dragged down, falling on the floor and being captured because there was nobody to save you. I mean, there was a lot of people ended up at the hospital. There was a lot of people arrested that day, but severe injuries, you know what I mean? And a lot of them was like from good kickings, being caught, right? And from bricks and rocks and all that. It was just a mayhem of a day. But the fear was there. The fear was there all the way through.
Did it go beyond your expectations, though, from the start of that day at 7:30 in the cafe and up to this point of what you were getting from the Cardiff fans? Or was this expected because they were known as a tough set of lads?
No, listen, it's a tough place, Cardiff. You can't. I mean, it's a mining place, isn't it? Wales, you know what I mean? So you expect it. I mean, they'd had a riot previously. I think it was at Bristol Rovers. I'm not too sure. They had a reputation. But the thing is, this is the Red Army. We're coming, and it's equal numbers. I don't care who you are. It's equal numbers. We're all having a go at each other. What was my expectations? My expectations was to have a great day. Well, while I'm getting grabbed over or on the floor, and I'm having a great day. Everyone was having a great day.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, some people go to hospital and that, but when they look back at it, they go, that was a great day. It was expected.
Yeah.
Of course it's expected.
Because you got what you wanted on both sides, the Cardiff and United fans.
Well, we was told anyway you were going to have a riot.
Yeah, by the national press.
By the national press, the TV, and they all knew it. The police knew it. So we're going to have a riot. This Red Army is on the march. This isn't the first time United have gone on the march, right, and had a riot. This has been going on, right, on a weekend. And I've told you, weekends are completely different than a midweek game, a night game for the Red Army, for any big, large group of football supporters. And whatever happens, happens. And I've always kept that motto. I'm not one of these where, you know, like through the 80s and the 90s and that, where you're on the phone trying to arrange to meet up and all that. I always say, look, you just get there. Whatever happens, happens. Well, that's how the Red Army was. You just met in the town centre if that was the right place to meet.
Up until you leave in Cardiff, where you think back and you think, oof, you know, I still remember that because of maybe how violent it actually was.
That day's never left me. That day can't leave you. Anyone what was there in the comments will tell you, you will never forget that day because it was a full day of war. And it was a great experience. You know, there are a lot of things what it taught me.
Surely one of the lessons and one of the moments you got to look back and think, God, I was lucky that day, is when 5 of you from Wythenshawe went in their end and there was no more Man United fans in there and you managed to get out of there into the end where the majority of fans were.
That was lucky. That was stupid. You know what I mean? But that's what you do. You get giddy, don't you? Luckily, got away with it. And that's what you do. You get away with a lot of things. But I didn't get away with it at the train station coming back. I did cop it off a Cardiff fan and he got me proper. He really, really mugged me right off.
Got to go into detail. Tell me how that occurred.
Well, like I say, we was one of the last groups coming back and like Cardiff were behind us, but to the right on the other street. And the police had, you know, they'd actually like dissected 2 routes, one for us, one for them. And they'd done it well, to be honest with you. Well, to the best of their ability. We still managed to get at each other, but it was sort of dying out and Cardiff was still trying to come at us and we was there ready to have it if they broke through down a side street or come round the back. So we was ready, but we went through the bus station. I remember a few of us going through the bus station because we knew it was virtually over because the train station's only there. And as we were going through there was the Cardiff kid. And there was a couple of police and he was there walking alongside, giving me a little bit of jip. I was giving him a little bit back. And I thought to myself, this is where you learn your lessons. I thought to myself, he's just giving me a little bit of jip, having the chat back and forth, ready to come near me and sucker punch me. So I was aware of that. I weren't that daft. But what I'd done, we carried on walking with this kid there, and there was a big enough gap with the police in this line to where we was going to the train station from the bus station. And I turned away because something happened, and I don't know what happened. And as I turned back, he seen his chance, absolutely smashed me with an headbutt, give it me. I didn't go down, and then he sort of stepped back, and he was away. That was his day made up. He got a United fan just before they left the last group. So he was made up.
What mood was you in after that, though?
Fuming.
Obviously.
Oh, I was fuming. The cop had just grabbed me.
Yeah.
The cop has grabbed me and threw me in to this group of United fans, you know what I mean? But it was my own fault because I'd actually stepped too far away and I was busy concentrating on it. And I knew what he was up to. And I've seen it loads of times in the future. What people do, they try and sneak it on you and all that. So I learnt my lesson there, you know what I mean? So if you're out there watching, put your comment in. I was him.
Yeah, if it was you actually who got you with the headbutt, or especially that fan with the long shorts on the fan, who was out clean by the sounds of it.
Do you know something? He was out. He was knocked out, but there was loads knocked out all over the place. There was people knocked out on the way to the ground. Some people got liberties took with them, you know what I mean? But the thing is, that was the whole day. People getting knocked out, people going to hospital, people heads smashed in, people there. I seen loads of people just like who'd been on the floor, right, with the knees, the pants just ripped and everything, and like the shirts ripped and all that, where people grabbing each other. And there was a lot of fear. And that's what I do remember, a lot of fear in them alleyways, but also laughter and giggling. Because the Red Army, that's what they did. They just rampaged, and you had to defend your town when they turned up. And to be honest with you, when they did turn up, and this isn't me giving it the big one or anything like that, when they did turn up, very, very hard for anyone to overcome that. And if it ever happened where big mobs went in cup games and all that in the 70s, it's very hard, no matter who you are, to take that group on. And you couldn't take United. All you could do, right, is have a go and defend and every now and again attack. And that's the whole day. And people might think, but it was a football match. Nah, you're absolutely clueless. This wasn't a football match. This was a war. And people knew to stay away. And people did stay away because they knew exactly what was going to happen. And it happened weekend after weekend after weekend, because that was the way of life. And I know I'm not like condoning it, slagging it down or anything like that. It's just a way of life. And that's a fact.
Sounds like there was enough numbers, though, from Cardiff, thousands of United fans, but it sounds like they were intent as well on that day to give it as much as they could against United fans. And by the sounds of it, they come out on top in certain situations throughout that day.
Listen, what happened that day was, right, we gave as good as each other, right? It was a stalemate. No one won. There was times we attacked, they defended, we defended, right? The numbers was there for us to take them on in their own backyard. But in their backyard, they were determined not to let the Red Army run them over. Cardiff and Man United, it wasn't about who won. I think both sides fought themselves to a standstill. To be honest with you, because that's what it was. You have a go, we have a go. And that's the way it went. There was no winners, fought themselves to a standstill. So the war, I look back on it like with amazement, but there was a few other teams, like I said before, but this stands out because it was pure hatred. The things what went on, right, was pure nasty. In the morning, dinner time, early afternoon, inside the ground, things what went on inside that ground, things what was said was absolutely bang out of order. And those who know, I'm never one for like tragedy chanting and all that, right? But what went on from both sides, it was just pure evil, pure nastiness, and it made people so violent. And the reaction from both sides, it was worse than I think anyone could have thought was going to happen. I just look back at it and think, absolutely mental times.
I think you've wrapped it up well there, to be honest with you. It was very interesting to listen to what you had to say on that. And like I say, I'm sure there's a lot of yous out there were either there that day as a Manchester United fan, Cardiff, please get involved with your own memories of that day in the comments section, because by the sounds of it, there was thousands there from United, thousands there from Cardiff. So everyone's memories of what they've seen that day will be different. And like we say, please smash a like on today's video to help support the channel. Let us know if you want us to continue these Manchester United fan culture stories of the actual 70s through the eyes of my dad, Tony O'Neill. Like I say, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. You take care. Thank you.